Hi guys, we're on to our 5th week of the interactive series recordings, and so far the viewers' response has been great. So we're gonna go and have those questions answered for you this week.
Brigadier, welcome to another series, another interactive series where we respond to questions by our social site Facebook. The first question this week comes from the United Kingdom. The recent statements by Mr. Clement Rohe that the no confidence is in limbo, meaning the no confidence motion, of course, is in limbo just before the commencement of Parliament, would seem to throw cold water on the opposition's attempts to hold the government accountable to the people. Do you think that the no confidence motion will see the light of day in Parliament, and do you think that the people believe that this will remove the PPP from office?
Thank you. There are two questions here. In the first, in response to the first question, yes, it will see the light of day. The Alliance for Change has discussed this motion with the Partnership for National Unity. They sent us the text on the 1st of August, and having studied it, we in APNU committed to support it. And there is no way the government could prevent the matter from coming before the National Assembly. It is entirely in the hands of the Alliance for Change to determine the direction of the debate, whether the debate will go ahead, but it will see the light of day. In response to the second part of the question, the Guyanese people generally would feel that this device or this motion would be a means of removing the PPP from office. Those who want to remove the PPP would be justified in such a feeling, but I must ask them to back up their desires by support for the parties which want to remove the PPP as well. Yes, we are certain that the PPP has done a lot of wrong things over the last 22 years, and right now we have no confidence. In fact, APNU brought a vote of no confidence, a motion of no confidence in Mr. Clement Rohe a little over 2 years ago. So it is well established, but moving the government is not just a legislative means. It means that also that people have got to come out in national election. They've got to register. They've got to vote. They have to support the parties. Last time elections were held, general and regional elections were held, over 150,000 persons didn't vote. These are registered people. So there's a lot more work to be done.
Okay, sir. The next question comes from right here at home, a citizen right here in Guyana. The recent videos of supposed school children in compromising positions has been the buzz during the past week. What would you say about this situation?
Well, again, there are two different ways of approaching it. Number one is that there is obviously very poor supervision, very poor management of the school. And there's also very poor sex education, because these are co-educational schools, they're high schools, and one would expect that as young boys and girls, who reach and go beyond the age of puberty, would be experimenting sexually. They become sexually active, and it is certainly a time to give them better guidance, counseling, so that they would not do this type of behavior during class hours. The second thing, of course, is the management of the school. I mean, those of us who've gone through secondary school can't imagine how they'd have found time and a place on the school premises to participate in that sort of behavior. But that apart, we have to look at the media responsibility. The media should be regarded as a professional occupation. And there are certain ethical standards which guide any profession, whether the profession of medicine, whether the profession of law, or whether the profession of journalism. And it is simply unacceptable to treat minors, that is, to publish photographs of minors, that is, persons who are not yet adults, and participating in this type of activity, apart from the vulgarity of it. Obviously the editor thought he might have gotten some increase in sales sex and scandal always sell. But these are minors, and the lives of the persons involved would be damaged, because it was quite clear which school they went to, and it might be, by now it would have been known who were the actors in that video. So it was a very damaging episode in media history in Guyana, that the state-owned newspaper should see it fit to publish such a video, or a still from such a video. So I said there are two sides to it. One is that there certainly has to be action on the part of the Ministry of Education, and secondly, there has to be action on the part of the President himself, because he's Minister of Information. So there are two ministries involved here. I'm not going to blame the youngsters. Sex happens, and it is just a matter of ensuring that we take a more responsible attitude to it. But certainly what took place on the pages of the state-owned Chronicle newspaper is something which the APNU cannot condone.
Okay. Sir, the next question is about local government elections. The protest actions that you and your party has been consistently engaged in front of the office of the President, calling on Mr. Ramatar to hold the constitutionally due local government elections. Do you believe that your strategy is an effective one, and how so?
Yes, it is not a personal statement. It is a position that is endorsed by the entire Partnership for National Unity. It's also a position that is gaining acceptance in other parts of non-government, on other parts of civil society. On our last occasion, on Tuesday, members of the NGO called Blue Caps turned out to join APNU protesters. Even if symbolically, it shows that there is greater support for the action. But other things are happening. People don't have to go on the street. Many people never go on the street and hold a picket. They don't want to be photographed. They don't want to be the subject of a news article. But we've seen one newspaper, the Starbuck News, every single day it publishes a little note on its front page calling for local government elections. Every week, Thursday, APNU contributes an article to Starbuck News about local government elections. We've had support from the diplomatic community, from the religious community, from the trade unions. So there's momentum. There is a movement now for democracy. So I would respond by saying yes, constant dripping away the stone. And we feel that what we're doing is bearing fruit.
All right. Sir, the final question on this series is related to the previous question, still on local government. It's a follow-up. There seems to be no movement by the government to proceed with the local government elections. How can the nation's people who elected their officials how can they join the call for local government elections? Is it only through protests and pickets?
No. We are not going to do anything unlawful at this point in time. We feel that the action we have taken is bearing fruit. More and more people are supporting the call for local government elections. And the PPP itself has been repeating even more frequently than before. Up to yesterday, I think the head of the presidential secretariat said, yes, we want local government elections. I am very confident that in a very short period of time, there will be an announcement of the date for local government elections. I think that what we've been doing since September has started to bear fruit, and I believe that the government will come around not to accept what the APNU has been calling for, what the nation has been calling for.
Thank you very much, sir.
Those were your answers for this week's interactive series. Don't forget, keep posting your questions to Mr. Granger's timeline on Facebook.